This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
We start with breaking news out of St. Louis County tonight. Police are in a Ladue neighborhood right now. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
I'm Mike Bush. Police were called there just about an hour ago. Our Robert Townsend just arrived on the scene on Ladue Ridge near South McKnight, and he joins us live with what he's seeing out there right now. Robert.
Hey there, Mike and Kelly. Let me tell you, we got out here about 20 minutes ago, and as we pan over here to my left, you can see we've got several police officers standing right here at the entrance of this subdivision. Again, we are on Ladue Ridge Road, just off McKnight Road. Right now, police are keeping us back, and they're not letting us go back there down that street to see what exactly is happening in this neighborhood. We know about an hour ago the Ladue Police Department received several 911 calls from neighbors who reported seeing 5 men in black ski masks shooting out of a dark gray van. At this point, we're still trying to see if police are going to confirm that for us. But again, right now they are stopping all drivers who pull into this subdivision, verifying that they actually live here, and then they're allowing those drivers to go to their homes. Minutes ago, I saw a DePere police officer pull up to this scene. So at this point, we've got officers from DePere, Town and Country, and Ladue out here in this subdivision. As soon as we know more, we'll definitely pass it on to you. But that is the story, at least for now. Live in Ladue, I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And some developing news out of downtown St. Louis. Police are investigating a shooting that happened about an hour ago near 14th and Market. We are told a 46-year-old man was shot in the leg. No word on what led to the shooting or if police have a suspect. The park across the street from the Stiefel Theater is blocked off while police investigate.
Tonight, Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush is facing criticism from Jewish leaders. That's after she accused Israel of, quote, ethnic cleansing against Palestinians in Gaza. Today, more than 50 people sent a letter calling on the Congresswoman to apologize to the Jewish community in St. Louis.
Justina Cornell spoke to the Jewish Federation of St. Louis. What do they have to say, Justina?
So Mike and Kelly, I'm told this is a letter to the community explaining their frustration and disappointment for their representative Cori Bush. They said their main message is words matter. Now, the letter said numerous times they felt her words to be insensitive, incorrect, and fanning the flames of anti-Semitism. On October 29th, Bush issued a statement on social media saying, "We can't be silent about Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign." In response to that, the letter said in the last century, the Jewish people were the victims of the worst ethnic cleansing campaign in history, and the scars from the Holocaust are still fresh in their collective memory. Now, Jewish leaders are demanding an apology from Cori Bush because they believe there has been a lack of decency and disregard for history.
Getting elected on a platform is one thing. Representing then, once you're elected, is the job of that individual. She is not doing that job for this Jewish community. This war, unfortunately, is not going away, and neither is our stand together to get the representative to hear, to listen to us, and to represent the constituency that she was elected by.
Now, Cori Bush did release a response to the letter saying, in part, she's repeatedly denounced Hamas and continues to condemn anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. It said, quote, "While there are characterizations within this letter that are unfair and simply untrue, we recognize that our Jewish neighbors are justifiably feeling frightened amid the horrific global rise of anti-Semitism." She also said she's committed to continue working with the St. Louis Jewish community.
Now to the latest on Israel's war against the militant group Hamas in Gaza. There are now evacuations of people who have been trapped since the war started last month. Israel and Hamas have agreed to let 500 people cross from Gaza into Egypt daily. Today, Israel is being criticized for targeting a refugee camp, killing dozens of people. Israel says that strike killed a senior Hamas commander in charge of carrying out the attack that started the war. 1,400 people died in Israel. At least 8,700 people have died in Gaza. The House is returning to action on Capitol Hill and could soon debate an aid package for Israel.
Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, sat down one-on-one with Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski before she returned to D.C. Mark.
Mike and Kelly, it was just about 1 month ago when the House dumped former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and the world has changed a lot since then. Now, with another government funding cliff rapidly approaching in D.C., Congresswoman Budzinski met us here in studio to discuss her approach to an increasingly dangerous world.
I think we need to be able to provide that support to the Israelis. They have a right to defend themselves. We want to be a good partner to them, making sure they have those resources. I've also voiced concern around the humanitarian crisis that's been happening in Gaza and making sure that we as a country are providing humanitarian aid to innocent Palestinians within Gaza.
You talked about sending humanitarian aid to Gaza, but I didn't hear the word ceasefire. Is that a word you can use? Do you want to see Israel stop its military advances?
Look, there will not be peace in the Middle East as long as Hamas, a terrorist organization, has embedded itself within Gaza. I think that the Israeli people have a right to defend themselves, and as they are a very strong partner of ours, the only democracy within the Middle East region, we need to have their backs.
The new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, did propose a $14.3 billion aid package to Israel, but he would offset that cost to the American taxpayer by slashing $14.3 billion to the IRS. Worth it?
So let me tell you what I believe and I support, and I was talking a little bit about this. I think we need a more comprehensive approach. We need to be able to support, I think, what the president has been advocating for, which is, yes, aid to Israel. That is critically important. But as I also mentioned, humanitarian aid is also deeply needed and something that I would be supportive of. I'd also like to see us continue to provide aid to Ukraine. The other thing that's also getting lost in this, and the president has been advocating, is we have a crisis at our southern border. We need to provide additional resources to secure our border as well. So I think the speaker, looking at this very narrowly, just within what we need to be doing to provide aid to Israel, yes, is very important. But we have a lot of other issues that we need to be also getting to. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to Washington and having those discussions.
They're discussing all that now. We'll bring you that full interview here on Sunday night after Sports Plus, where we ask her, knowing what you know now about this new speaker, would you still vote to eject Speaker McCarthy?
Mark, thanks. Colder weather is here, and St. Louis County officials are now preparing for winter snowstorms.
5 on your side's Annie Kroll is live in St. Louis County after learning about staffing shortages and the training process for snowplow drivers this year. Annie?
Well, exactly. I'm actually standing in front of one of the St. Louis County snowplows, and earlier today, both veterans and new recruits who are going to be hitting the roads once the snow starts to fly tried to practice their routes multiple times if need be, just to feel comfortable. And it's interesting because they're trying to cover as much ground, both figuratively and literally, as possible, while still being short about 50 drivers. Today's annual winter operations training for snowplow drivers begins in the classroom, learning policy and writing out the routes. St. Louis County has 115 trucks to clear roads. However, right now, St. Louis County is short-staffed on snowplow drivers. At full capacity, they have more than 200 drivers. Still, the St. Louis County Director of the Department of Transportation and Public Works said they should have enough staff to keep the roads clear. Snowplow drivers were practicing their routes all day today, which will hopefully make them aware of any hazards ahead of the snow falling.
Anybody responding to snow will have the opportunity to continue to ride their routes. The folks specifically in the operations department are doing work on our streets anyway, so they might have a greater familiarity, but our recruits might not have as great a familiarity, and so we give them the opportunity to continue to become acquainted with the equipment and the routes that they'd be plowing.
At 6 o'clock, we'll hear from the St. Louis County executive who actually got behind the wheel of one of these snowplows to hear what he's asking drivers to keep in mind as those snowplow drivers are getting ready. And if you're interested in becoming a snowplow driver yourself, you can find out information on how to apply in the As Seen on TV category of KSDK.com. Live in St. Louis County, Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
Instead of homeowners paying realtors, realtors now have to pay the homeowners. Why a Missouri jury says one group has to cough up the cash.
Plans for a second pot dispensary near a St. Louis school. Tonight we hear from students who are pushing back.
And 27 this morning in St. Louis, 1 degree away from a record of 26. That 19 you see this morning in Rolla was a new record. Not as cold tonight and warmer afternoons. I'll have the details coming up.